So good morning, Sketchers. Today's topic is, well, this month's topic. We're going to be doing this regularly in the next 6 months. We'll see how this goes, and hopefully by then things would get better, right? So anyway, I'm going to share you my screen. Screen 3. Okay, does everyone see my slides? My first slide, the title. Give me a thumbs up if the online thing that we do is we give a thumbs up if there's a reaction to this. Okay, I'm just expanding. Okay, how to create a sketchbook out of your favorite paper. So as we were discussing early on, before most of you have come in, it has been a problem with the supply or availability of sketchbooks. Okay, so and also the type of paper sketchbooks are the commercial ones. I mean, I'm a watercolorist. I like to do watercolors. So what is and the availability of 100% cotton for the pages of a sketchbook is not it's not a regular offer amongst the commercial ones. So, but some of you might ask, the newbies, no, what is a sketchbook? Okay, so back in the day in the Renaissance, no, paper became very affordable, and somebody thought, if you bind them together and then put a leather cover over them, and you're not anymore limited to the studio or place where the desk is. So therefore, urban sketching came about. Observing places, observing people, things, and the like. So it's part of our equipment of record what we see. So it's a very portable thing. I mean, like the idea of placing a bunch of paper and folding them together, and then put it in the bag, or you carry it around, and then you can record whatever you see. So that was the concept then. So it's normally a bounded collection of blank pages to draw on. Okay, so those are like blank things. Okay, there's so many types of sizes now. It depends on what convenience. So I have a bunch of things. Okay, so for context, this is an A4 size. So this is a full length regular paper or printer paper or bond paper, if most of us know it, no? That we use now. So this is an A4 size. Okay, so this is an A4 size, and this is one of my creations. Okay, so this is the type of sketchbook. So this is a more of accordion type, right? So this is where I like. So this is accordion type. So I created this. It's made of 100% cotton, 185 grams arches, 185 grams per square meter. So that's the weight. So I like doing portraits of people I observe, my colleagues, even from pictures, and even things. Okay, and then this is also where I practice some of the works here. Okay, so some experiments. I do experiments on these things, and then I even use the back side of my watercolor paper pages for swatches. Okay, so you might see YouTubers or demonstrators who do all of these things. But I do this to take a look at the differences of even the brands per brand. This is, and then the effects. that's the purpose of mainly for me, the purpose of swatches, not just trying to do colors in the swatches, but yeah, just to see what the effects are. And some pigments are very unique or not offered in any other brands. So anyway, this is I've done this probably last when did I start? Roughly about 2017. So it's been with me for 4 years, right? So that's the accordion type of sketchbook. And then I have another one that's bigger. This is an A5, twice more, of course. This is an A6, A6-ish, and then this one. So this sketchbook used to have regular paper type, which I didn't care much for, so I gutted it out, and I placed in 100%, again 185 grams per square. So it's a bit bigger, and I found this to be a bit A5 isn't something that I'm used to. Meaning there's a lot of commitment, because if there's a bigger area, you need more time. It's sort of like a pressuring thing. Okay, so I have tons of pages. So I've made like I cut out 2 sheets, big sheets, and then and then I glued them together. Right. So it's anyway. There's, if you could see the connection here. Anyway, I tried to do this as precisely as I could. Now, so this is based on the dimensions of the former pages. Anyway, that's an A. Anyway, what I'm going to be demonstrating is how to create this very quickly based on something. The cover will be something unused or unused planner or notebook. Ideally, it's something hardbound. Now you can make your own cover, of course, by creating your own based on cardboard, and then a bit of covering or leather if you want to. But in this today's demonstration is just a simple something that's already readily available that you could use. So what do we do with this? No? And then, of course, one of the great things about using these sketchbooks and collecting them over time is archiving, and they're great for better than loose paper, by the way. So loose paper, you tend to just place them around, and then they get lost, they get ruined, they're not protected. So those are some of the uses why you use a sketchbook. Anyway, let's talk about what ideal paper or things. Okay, so you can use regular paper, by the way. That's not if you're not into watercolor and you're still trying to just draw with regular paper. If you have a very specific weighted type. Okay, so normally regular paper or bond paper, it's quite thin. It's quite thin, and it's roughly about 70 grams to 90 grams per square meter. So what does that mean? It's the weight for every paper at 1 square meter. So if there's a 1 square meter area, and you weigh that paper, and that's the weight, right? So the ideal paper it's normally about more than 100 grams to 200 grams. Yung Oslo, if we all know, we're all familiar with that term, Oslo. We buy Oslo paper on the store just to create some projects. And then if you only have that in mind, yes, you can use that as your paper. But if you're a watercolorist, of course, better weighted paper not necessarily cotton, could be ideal enough. Anyway, the style, okay, the size and style, it also depends on you. If you want to create a longer type of paper, not just you have to find or make your own cover that's suited to that size. Anyway, why are we making these sketchbooks? So they're personalized. So they're economic, meaning you can. It's how much is a sketchbook nowadays? What are the prices? I remember buying Moleskine accordion or Japanese fold paper for 800 pesos. For that's an A6 type size, and the paper wasn't 100% cotton. It was regular thick paper, so it wasn't ideal for me. And yeah, and unique. It's of course one of a kind. If you want to place in more decorative elements in your cover, they could be unique. It's in itself. So what are we going to use for these for this one? My example here. So here, of course, something unused like an A5 or A6 cover of a notebook or planner. So we all know that we have all these Starbucks unused planners. I'm guilty of that. I've collected some and then I never actually use them on a daily basis. Like I try to write a few things during the first month and then that's it. Metal ruler, something long or something short. At least a metal ruler that's long actually. Sheet of paper, of course, the type of paper that you're going to be using, a box cutter, glue, scissors. Very basic. And then an envelope, if you can, that's smaller than, of course, that cover, so that you can use it as like a things to place into the back of the cover, on the last page, on the back cover, and then cutting mats, pencil, and then of course gum tape. An artist gum tape. Okay, so when we use this, gum tape is different from masking tape. That this is you wet this and then it becomes like a glued type of paper. It's a paper tape that has adhesive that is only activated when it's wet. Okay, so some of our watercolors use this. It's readily available, by the way, in online stores. So let's understand about a few things about the sizes. Although, of course, the type of like when I say A6, it means that it's 1/4 area of an A4. So an A4 is roughly about the typing paper, the regular typing paper. That's half. I mean, like 1/4 of the area of that. An A5 is exactly like half the area size of an A4. So those are the systems. Okay. Anyway, we can disregard all of this, but what you can do is to concentrate on the size of the pages, the discarded pages of the planner or notebook that you're going to be using. So you can use that the dimensions itself. Yeah, of course, measure it by millimeters to the exact millimeters, and again, so just to emphasize on what the sizes are. So what I'm going to do in if this example here this morning is that I'm going to be creating this A6 size. Okay, so I want to create an A6 size paper. So here, this is an A6. So it's ideal for me because it's small enough, but not too small for me to carry around. No? and it's pocket size, I could place this in onto my pocket. So if you could see here my inset camera. Okay, it's a bit okay. So this is not a regular thing. It's thicker than before. Okay, so this is a an old Starbucks planner, and it's quite thick. Okay, so I gutted it out. I measured the panels exactly to from the pages, the old pages, and then so I could sort of like place it in my pocket. So this is what I do when I'm sketching out. If it's easy enough for me to carry around on a daily basis, and so without trouble. Of course, usually I have a bag that I carry. Even a smaller bag can fit this in. So I go around. Anyway, thing is, the A5. Okay, this is sort of like an A5-ish. When I say A5-ish, is not exactly the A5 dimensions. So again, I based the measurements of each panel from the former pages of this, the old pages. So it's kind of overwhelming because I have to, I don't know where to put this sometimes. I don't know where to, I don't have enough space in my bag. But if you want to, if you're sitting around on tape for, and besides also, it's hard for me to handle this when I'm trying to sketch out. The ideal is really the palm size. So, but then I can extend this. This is the one of the benefits of having accordion types. Okay, so you can fold around and then you can do more panoramic type of drawings. So old pages, you cut it out. Normally they're glued here. So take them out. Okay, so don't throw it at your old pages because that's the basis of your dimensions. It's gonna be. And then, okay, what are the things that you could consider? So for the based on the pages, for example, if you're deliberately trying to go for A6 size, so this is from an A4 paper, you will have a maximum of 4 panels or 4 pages. Okay, so very simply, you need to just have one cut line here from here, and everything else is either a valley fold or an apex fold. And then, yeah, you could make normally. Okay, so normally, what's going to happen is that normally the pages or the panels that you're from the former or the old pages will be slightly different. So what you need to do is to determine, of course, you need to cut exactly the panel that you're going to be creating. So it's, and then of course, smaller, and then you have to cut these extra sides or edges out to be exactly the pages, or else it's going to be odd. I can even do it smaller, slightly smaller, because something that I learned from doing all of this is that this edge or the outer edge of this, like what the is a bit it gets damaged over time. So if the cover is if the page's folding edge is slightly offset from the original page, they would be okay, better. Better protected from bumps or any dirt. So if you're using an A3 size paper, which is bigger, the ones that we would use for, of course, bigger printers, which is twice the area. Okay, so if this is an A4, that's an A4 right there. That's the size. So it's twice more. This is what you do with it. Of course, again, you have to per panel, you have to exactly measure your the pages. I mean, like how the dimensions of the old pages that you got it out. All right. Okay, for 22 inches by 29.2 inches. No, actually that's the by almost 30 inches. Okay, this is the regular type of so this is the regular type of the size of a sheet of paper that you can buy commercially, Arches or Fabriano, right? And other brands, okay. Hamemule, Hamemule, I don't know how to pronounce that. Holland brand. Anyway, these are the types. I don't know why it's 29.79 inch, not even exact 30 inches. Anyway, this is how much you can get if you buy this panel. Okay, so it's very confusing right now. It's a lot of these things. So the thing to explain this, okay, so eventually it ends up looking like this. So this is a very simple, not really so simple type of folding, but this is what the result is going to be. And then, of course, and then you glue it onto the first page, onto the gutted cover, right? And then for pages that you don't, I mean, you want to stick them together, you can do this. You can use a gum tape onto and join them together, and then that's it. But let's go back a bit. Let's go back and let me show you how this is now. So this last night I did I was like thinking I can't do this live. So I can't do this live. So what happened was I created my own. So I created my own demonstration last night. I filmed it, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to watch that video, and while I'm showing that, I'll try to voice over. Okay, so here we are again. So let me just play this video. So of course, the very first thing that you need to do is to measure your dimensions of each panel. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm doing the outline. I'm using a drafting board with some drafting equipment, and I'm laying them out. Okay, so I'm even using my old triangle. It's very old, since college. And each corner of the panels, I lightly pencil. So this is the result of those dimensions. Okay, so in cutting, okay, you may not follow this exactly, but later on I'll explain a bit more. So I'm cutting with a aluminum ruler and cutting mat, and I'm trying to be careful as much as possible, very precise. I'm trying to be as precise as possible, as careful as possible. I was taking my time and I'm trying to fold them first, all of this. So the valley fold and the apex type or the A type. Okay, so and then of course carefully align them together. I mean, and then again being careful as much as possible, because I don't want to ruin them. I mean, like misalign them. I don't want that. That was I was trying to avoid. So it helps a lot if you have a drafting board and you draft this out. And this is what you have so far. So I'm trying to see that everything's aligned perfectly. And that's what you have. Now the style that I'm trying to do here is that, you know, the entire uh, ends here. The ends here. If you could see, let me just. Can you see my arrow? Anyway, these two the ends. Okay, so I'm being careful where to cut, also where to stop to cut and where to start this. But you can go all the way actually, if you want to, and just glue these strips of paper together on their ends. But this type of style has been it's not something that I've invented. I've learned through reading, and some people are doing it like this. So one entire sheet is utilized here. So this is from a 22-inch by 30-inch watercolor paper size, the commercial type that you could buy. Okay, so particularly I'm using a 185 grams per square meter paper, which is 100% cotton. So the brand is Arches. So this is what the result is. Now, in context, now this is what I mean for. So I did an exact A6 size. Let me just pause this. So exact A6 size. So it's bigger than my old notebook, which I want to gut out and use. So since I did not measure it exactly to the old pages, so mine is a bit bigger. So this one came up to roughly about 13 to 14 millimeters if you're going to compress them in. And then comparatively, if you have a regular notebook like this is let's go back. So this is roughly the thickness of this is roughly 14 millimeters also. So it's actually the paper here size is a bit thinner than that. So it's somewhere here. So there's a leeway. Okay, it means exactly if you're using like this type of regular commercially. Normally, a planner like this costs like 100 pesos. So it's great, no? And then if you use the commercial 185 gram 22-inch by 30 inches, and it's going to fit that. So anyway, okay, further on, okay, so and this is the folding of that which I showed you in the video. So the first panel is here, and then it's folded at this point here vertically. I mean horizontally. I mean here, and then the like. Okay, this is a diagram which I created. I drew. I mean, like I wanted to illustrate that, and then eventually you glue it onto the first the front cover behind the front cover. So this is where you place in the glue. Normally I just glue it on the edges, close to the edge, and that's it. And then you can fold it accordingly if you have done the precise dimensions. Okay, so alternatively, you can do all the sheets. If you don't have a bigger sheet and then you want to join together to A3 size, from the A3 size, okay, what you need to do is to glue the ends together with gum tape, or you can have an extra flap roughly about here and then just glue it onto the first set. And then yeah, then so that's already glued together, like here it's glued, and then you just glue the first page right here. Now again, alternatively, you can go through, I mean, you don't need to cut the way I cut it. Just strips of paper with the panel dimensions, and then you can have an extra uh, uh, piece of paper on here, extended paper or flap, like roughly about 10 millimeters, and then just glue them together, and then that's it. You could have this very simple accordion type of sketchbook. So this is the easiest method that I can think of, rather than me doing a proper way of cutting and then folding and then stitching and then pressing, and then again you have to have this special cutter or to cut off the edges later on. And then it's economical for me because it's it's, if you're thinking about it, I mean, like a 22 by 30 inches would be roughly, right now it's 550 plus, around 550. No, wait, is that 300 grams? No, it's 185 grams because the prices have increased over time, and I was like so surprised. I mean, like it used to be 300 plus pesos, and then now it's 500 plus pesos. And then economical because if you think about it, if you buy a sketchbook, it's around that size. If an A5 size with regular number of pages, it's going to cost 1,200 pesos. If you buy the A6 type, it's going to be 600 pesos. So more or less the same, but still the paper that most likely it's not 100% cotton, right? That's one of the things. If it's cotton, and that's probably 1,000 plus pesos. Okay, you can use your favorite paper, of course, that, and then you can use the backside as well. Okay, so backside meaning accordion type. Okay, so anyway, you can do that also with regular type of sketchbooks. Now, one of the interesting things that you could do here is really you can just create longer or taller, not even standard type of sizes. Okay, you need not follow what's given. Okay, less stress when drawing with a cheaper sketchbook. Yeah, one of the things that some people, I overheard one guy telling his co-office mate, was saying that he bought a Moleskine. Moleskine, that's how you pronounce it. Actually, it's Italian. Moleskine sketchbook, and he couldn't use it because it was very expensive and very precious. So what he ended up doing is not using the book at all most of the time, because it's very pressuring that to do something very nice. So that's not the objective of a sketchbook. The objective of a sketchbook is to actually draw and practice and experiment, and discover new things by just drawing it on it. All right, and that in turn encourages more sketching. So you're not pressured. One of the things that you can do actually is really place in cheap paper, really, and yeah, that creates a switch in your mentality, that you don't have to be conscious about the material that you're using. You have to do something fantastic. You have to do something very, very, very finished. Now, it's true. When I use cheaper paper, it ends up actually being a better result than something that's I'm using a very more expensive paper, and I was like, I'm sort of like pressured to do things, but I'm trying to switch off that thing, by thinking that when I do things, let's just go just do it, all right. Anyway, I want to show you the finished product, by the way. What I did with that example of how what I cut last night. Let me just switch to overhead. Yes. So can you see this well? Yeah, let me just place in my camera. Hold on. So this is the cover. Okay, my this. So it's not exactly a notebook cover. You can do this also with by using these things. Now over the years I stopped doing. I'm buying coffee from Starbucks and collecting all these stickers and then just buying these things that I don't use anymore. Anyway, thing is, so this is the paper that I showed you in my example, and then on the first page you have this notebook cover. You can just buy a notebook cover and then just place them in here. Ideal. This is like quite ideal because this protects the edges here from bumps or dirty hands, and yeah, and then you can just do this, right? And there you go, right? So ideal. Well, not really my ideal size because this is the size of almost an A5, bigger one. Okay, comparatively to something like this is more compact. Let's see. Questions, reactions?
How much did you say the Arches paper costs?
By sheet, is it?
Well, yeah, I mean, or you mentioned when we were talking before you started that you bought a roll before. Is it possible?
Yes, a roll. Yes. Okay. Back in 2008, I said to myself, I'm gonna buy a roll of paper because I want to do big pieces of art, watercolor. So a roll of watercolor paper, the one I bought, which is it's 44 inches. 44 inches is about more than 1.5 meters by 9 yards. So if you're thinking about 9 yards, 9 yards would equate to something like, I don't know how many meters is that, 0.9. Anyway, thing is, that's a whole lot of watercolor paper. So it's an equivalent of 2 sets of 14-inch by 20-inch watercolor block. So same cost anyway. Thing is, it used to cost 185 grams per square meter. It used to cost 3,000 plus pesos. If you're buying the thicker paper, which is 300 grams per square meter, actually it's just a more ideal weight for me. It's 6,000 back then, right? Nowadays, okay, the present prices are the 185 grams, 44 inch by 9 yards. It's 6,700 something pesos. Wow. Yes, twice more. I was like, wow. I thankfully, well, anyway, the 300 grams, it's 11,000 pesos. 10,990 pesos. But then last December, Lazada was selling that 30% discounted, so I had to buy it. Now I have an entire 300 grams paper, and then I mean I do watercolors, and I want to and have plans to do a whole lot. So the disadvantage of having a roll is really the cutting time, because you have to find a space for you to cut that large sheet of paper, and it doesn't cooperate easily because it's rolled, and it's like trying to roll back. So you have to put weights onto the corners, and then you have to measure exactly where to cut, and then you have to have a long piece of aluminum, and then for you to draw the line, and then you cut it with scissors carefully, because you don't want to. I can't use a cutter because it's kind of where do you're cutting onto floor. That's why.
Mm.
And then yeah, it's an investment. It's 700. I bought it for 7,700 pesos. That's a steal for me, because it used to cost 6,000. It's like, no, I don't want to spend 11,000 pesos for something like that. So it's 7,700, and it's like, I'm happy because I'm still planning out. So that the advantage of that is that you can cut any format that you want. It's not standard to something like a watercolor block. So a watercolor block, of course, it's I have here. Even bought these. Like, okay, it's green. That's why you're seeing black. I'm
Right.
on a green screen. Anyway, thing is, these are glued together, and then on the sides. So watercolor block
Is it? Are you buying hot pressed or cold pressed paper?
Oh, okay. So again, let's talk about the different types of papers, right? So I'm normally a cold press guy because it's neutral between the hot press and rough. But now I came to love rough, because yeah, I could do these techniques, the dry, grainy type of finishes. Yeah, over time your style actually will change, and you try to do different type of styles. I mean, like, the rule is like, you don't use white in watercolor, but now I'm using white because there's something that I want to do with that. But when you're learning, guys like me who are your professor would say, don't use white, don't use black. But now I'm breaking those rules. I'm using black. I'm using white. But sir, you can. Well, you can't because you're still a student. But okay, I have a question here by Reka. Best recommendation for watercolor paper, hot press or cold press or rough? Start with the cold press. What I say is that because when you have a hot press, which is very smooth. Okay, so what are the differences? Okay, okay, let's talk about the differences. Hot one has no tooth or valleys or mountains. Okay, the hot press, it's very smooth. It's very, so it when you do when you use a grainy type of watercolor, say something that's mineral based, the mineral, the grounded pigments would sit more on the valleys of that, and so you have this granular type of texture on your painting. So hot press does not have mountains and valleys. Okay, if you magnify it, and then the rough is on the opposite. It has a lot of valleys and a lot of mountains on that. So the cold press is in between. It's neutral. For me, as an architect illustrator, that's kind of ideal because it's both worlds. Sometimes it's not too smooth, not too rough at the same time. So the cold press offers a neutral between the two. So when you get used to cold press, probably you would like to experiment on the hot press and then experiment on the rough. So right now I'm experimenting on the rough. after how many years of watercolor practice. Yeah, start out with the cold press because it's really in between the two. Do you have any other questions? Okay, I'm just managing a few things here. All right. So any other questions that you would like to ask? Everything clear with the presentation? You might have something that for me to yes, James, Jonathan. That's great. Pao is here, or Muffy. Irma, hello, hi. It's been a long time.
Hi, Kuya Janil.
Hello. Oh, nandyan kayo. Hello.
Opo. Hi. Mama, hindi bukas video mo. Ay, bukas na video mo. Hi, nag-echo ako. Here's ours. Ayan. Mama,
Okay. Great. Wow, they were following along. Okay, so many people.
Yan. Yes. Oo. Tapos, di ba? Siyempre, comics sa first page. Tapos, sa center, ayun na yung sketch pad.
Okay, great. Great. Anyway, what I'm going to do, yes. Oh, great. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to be uploading this record, and then I'm going to be, of course, uploading a copy, a link to that. Okay, I'm going to be posting it, this video copy in my YouTube channel. So I have a YouTube channel, which yes, I do. Which I started back in 2018 because I was thinking like my students needed some supplementary videos about art. So if you're wondering what, a few things about drawing and painting, and you can go find my name. Okay, just search my name, Janil Arlegui or Arlegui. And you can find my channel. But anyway, what I'm going to do here is upload it to my channel, and then I'll give you the links to a copy of my slides, these slides, and then also, of course, you can rewatch the entire video again if you want to create your own sketchbook. But we're open to suggestions to what topic that you would like for us to do. And for those who are new to sketching, yeah, you just wait on the next topic, which is going to be sketch gear. What are the stuff that you use for sketching? Well, my personal take anyway, and let me show examples of what other people are doing also at the same time. And let me see what. Okay, so there's a last question. Poster paint, something about wait. Okay, poster paints. Okay, let me just answer the poster paints. Poster paints, I'm not so familiar because I don't usually use them, but they can be also on thicker paper. I don't know how wet that is, but I'm guessing that watercolor paper would do a fantastic job in retaining poster color. But I remember poster color as being very fragile. So if you bend the paper, it cracks. I don't know if I haven't used poster color in a long time, but yeah, normally it's on illustration boards. That's what I'm familiar with. And then to answer Nice's question, if you cut through, again, what you can do is you can get a strip of paper, the scrap pieces, and then just glue them together. So you have two sheets, end to end. If you have the sheets end, right? What you can do here is in between, you can have a long strip of paper, thin long strip of paper, and then just glue them together, and then you can bend them. Or better yet, gum tape. Okay, what is gum tape? It's this. Now, okay, so this is what the white version. So there's a white version of gum tape. It's adhesive gum tape. It's not masking tape. It's only activated with, okay, they're loose because they're not. And then you can cut strips of paper. These are relatively inexpensive. You can order them. Yeah, it's white. You know, Jonathan, right? I found this online. I was like, oh, white, intriguing. Okay, so I bought 2 of these.
I'm only used to seeing brown stuff, you see.
Yes, exactly. But it behaves the same, but except it's white. I was like, wow. Okay, that's new to me. And then this could I think I bought this like 120 pesos, but this is like how many yards? 30 meters, I think. Well, not bad, right? I was like expecting it to, and that 120 pesos, it's like I think it's two pieces, so that's 60 pesos each. So it's relatively very affordable. Okay. With that, we end this lesson on creating your own sketchbook. Okay. All right. So nice seeing everyone. I mean, like,
You.
huh? Come again?
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. So we'll be doing this once a month. Let's see what's what sort of reaction to, I mean, from the community. We hope that it's more engaging. Okay, so these are the things that we could do during this pandemic. I mean, like let's be all safe. Let's get all boosted. Right. Let's hope that Omicron would would die off, and for us to be very much protected. Currently, okay, the news is about COVID. Let me do a short segment about COVID, Omicron. Even if you are vaccinated with 2 shots and boosted, you may still get Omicron, except it's going to be a few days shorter, the symptoms, and the likelihood of you being hospitalized is lesser. Except you're not protected from. Currently, there's no official vaccination to Omicron specific variant, but there is something that's in development. But until that part of this pandemic, when we finally ends and we start sketching, this is the we're doing a series of retooling ourselves as urban sketchers. What you can make, what you can do. All right. So until then, I mean, let's do a bit more of these things. That way, what we can do, we can sketch our surroundings. We can still sketch our neighborhood somehow, and then eventually we can all be together again. All right. I guess that's it. I'm going to be saying goodbye now, and thank you for attending. I mean, this is great. Happy New Year. Okay. Bye bye.